welcome you to another live edition of The Sports Box, your go-to sports podcast featuring great content, conversation, and your occasional disagreement. Stick around to interact and ask questions. Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
Good morning, one and all. Thanksgiving is over. You are at December 1st. The year is almost over. It is week 13 in the NFL calendar. Brian Attard, Anthony Medio, Drew Trammell will join us shortly for Sports Box NFL Sunday pregame. But with everything going on in the world of the Chicago Bears, I wanted to give my good friend Anthony here the floor to really just kind of let it out, let out the anger and the frustration. But we'll get it started right then and there before we even get into the game. Anthony, you were advocating for this for a couple weeks. It has happened now. Do you want to take your parting shots at your ex-head coach?
What we saw Thursday was coaching malpractice, Brian. I mean, I couldn't believe what I was watching. It sucks. It's been a painful, hurtful month. I'm numb to it. But the Bears did a smart thing. They got rid of Matt Eberflus. Thank you. Get rid of this guy. I think what he's done the last month is probably some of the worst coaching I've ever seen. And for him to keep his job this long, it was amazing. So, I mean, I'm glad to see this happen. I think the Bears did the right move. They haven't fired a coach mid-season since their existence, which is over 100 years. So, I mean, this is big. I mean, it had to be done. Rumors coming out, the general manager wanted to fire him after New England, and they kept him aboard, and it was a big mistake because he cost them victories. And I'm glad to see this guy go. Bears have had horrible coaches going all the way back from Trestman, John Fox, obviously Matt Nagy. So now is the time to turn the page. This is the most important decision this organization is going to have moving forward. I mean, you've heard my stance on the quarterback. They have a quarterback. You cannot deny that. Caleb Williams has played awesome. Yeah, yes, has he made rookie mistakes? Absolutely. Everyone has. So, I mean, you break down Caleb Williams in the fourth quarter of these games, he's playing football. And he's a hell of a football player. And they have something. And they have a roster. So this is a big opportunity for Poles, who's going to be giving another opportunity. He's staying on as GM. So, I mean, this is his opportunity to make the biggest hire in this organization's history. Because right now it's bad.
What's up, everybody? Good morning.
Sure.
Couple things. I just look at it. I'm happy for the Bears organization. I'm happy for our boy Ant. He's getting a new head coach. Ryan Poles, and if it's true that he's having struggles with the ownership on who to fire, then we'll blame the ownership because he should never been the head coach to jump. This is the bad guy to have for a rookie quarterback sensation. You saw it on Hard Knocks. He looked like a complete buffoon on how he was doing things, his one-on-one bullshit and all that. I can't stand it. I hated it. The O-line ranks is still one of the worst. Pass blocking win rate is 26th. Run blocking win rate is 24th. So that tells you the O-line and the coaching staff around the O-line is absolutely horrific. The development wasn't there. Nothing was working. From the standpoint of Caleb Williams, he's looked absolutely phenomenal this last month, I would say, from a quarterback standpoint, from hitting his routes, hitting his passing, hitting his reads and all that stuff. He looks great. He looks good, but he still is having issues on when to throw the ball and all that, which will be fixed, like Ann alluded to earlier, especially when you bring in a guy like Ben Johnson, who I think is going to be the number one candidate for this position. It should be. I think he'll fix whatever woes that we have for the Chicago Bears offense, and immediately defensive wise, I don't think there's really much need to fix on. This team is. That's why I love this team so much, because I picked them to be in the number 7 seed in the NFC because of their defense. I thought they were going to do more than enough to made Caleb Williams a game manager for his rookie year, which is what he should have been. DeAndre Swift was a great pickup, regardless of what people think. He was a good pickup because of what he was able to do, and especially with that O-line. It's a multitude of things that I think the Bears are going to lean on. Ryan Poles needs to hit this, Brian.
Yeah.
He's got a great trade on him. Yeah, the people, regardless of what we'd argued last week, people are going to argue about the Roma Dunze pick till the end of days. He needs to get a good head coach and a good and get a good system flowing in that organization, like what Harbaugh has been doing for the Chargers this year. They'll get it. They'll figure it out. I believe in Ryan Poles. I think he's one of the best GMs in the NFL, and hopefully ownership can let him. I don't like that they're tug of warring over.
No,
over
it's not good. It's not good.
Firing Eberflus.
Yeah.
I don't know what this guy did. Like, what does he have? Blackmailing the old lady who's the owner? Like, what the hell's going on here, dude?
The McCaskey family goes back, for a long, long time, and they just do things the way they do. And I don't trust who they're going to hire. I have no faith in this organization. I think paying coaches is not their thing. I think maybe that's the reason why they didn't go after Harbaugh, because of the money he was asking. I'm worried. I don't know who I want as a head coach, to be honest with you.
Well,
I can't. I don't know. I feel there has to be someone in the locker room that these guys are gonna, they're gonna fear, and they're gonna be held accountable for. So I'm concerned. I am concerned about the coaching.
Well, we've said this a while, right? It's an offensive league. You need offensive head coaches, especially when you are putting high picks into that position. Like, you need someone who is going to work with that guy and get the most out of that guy. There's a link this morning where the Bears are linked to Notre Dame head coach Marcus Freeman.
I mean, that's ridiculous. There's no way that could happen. I don't even know the thinking. It can't be. It just has to be something on the line. And it can't be.
Might as well just go call Lovie Smith, and if that's the case, you're going to go the Notre Dame.
Like we've been talking about, Brian. He needs an offensive mind, but but it's wide open. They could go in so many directions here. You could bring in a guy or try to bring in a guy like Belichick. I don't think they will, because he's going to cost too much.
Why not Kingsbury?
He was my next guy. They could you bring him in. He's worked with Caleb. He's worked with Kyler Murray. It's been successful there. Drew likes Ben Johnson. I hear you.
I go Ben Johnson, or I go a step further. If you want a veteran presence and someone who's done it before, which is what really sounds like, who?
Vrabel?
No, Vrabel's nice, but I would go with someone who hasn't been a head coach for a while. Has been a great defensive coordinator and bring in a good OC. I try to talk to Spagnuolo.
He's got one of those jobs that's like
he needs to find a solid ass OC,
I think,
if you want to go that route, because that's a guy that will put the fear of God in people.
They can't go that route. I think if
you don't go that route, if
they do go that route, it's a guy like Vrabel that could command the team, but then you get an OC and he's out of it. There's ways they could do this, so it's going to be interesting to see. There's no doubt guys are going to want to go there. Coaches are going to want it. It's a attractive job. So
watch Chicago go get Robert Saleh.
That's what I'm concerned about.
It happens. It's a recycle phase. Watch, dude.
Either you're going to go with someone unknown or you're going to get a recycled coach. So it's like, which way do you want to go?
Robert Saleh's better than a Notre Dame head coach.
I would take him, but Drew, I would take him as a D coordinator. I would absolutely.
1,000%.
If you were to get him on the staff, I'd be totally.
Who's
happy.
your D coordinator right now?
Forget his name.
It's not like he's doing a bad job. He's doing a great job for
what. Well, Eberflus runs the defense. Eberflus the defense. So Eberflus made all the defensive calls. He was on the sideline with the defensive play calling sheet. He called all the plays.
Fortunately, you can't keep him after you fired him as head coach.
So I mean, part of the reason why he kept his job because the defense was played so well
Yeah,
at
that
the end
makes
of the
sense.
year, and played well in the beginning of the year. I mean, yeah. So
he definitely won't be an event coordinator in his future. That's for sure.
But I think this is the thing, right? I think you need to pick somebody and let them go for a couple years. Like you have to have some.
You're right. Yeah.
Do you remember Jason Campbell?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jason Campbell was supposed to be good at football. Now he really wasn't, but he also went from offense to offense to offense. They kept changing the playbook every year on him, everywhere, all the time. New coaches, new systems. Like, how are you supposed to ever get good at anything?
Jason Campbell was a serviceable player, not bad.
He was on the Bears.
Not bad.
I have higher
offensive
standards for this.
coordinators on Washington.
The Bears had Campbell.
Everybody did.
Yeah,
the Raiders had him.
The Bears had everybody also.
Yeah.
So yeah,
the Bears also has a loss on Thanksgiving as they go into Detroit and they make it a game, but they lose 23-20. Jared Goff 21-34, 221 and 2 touchdowns. Caleb threw for 256 and 3 in a comeback effort that just fell short. Detroit runs the ball exceptionally well.
It was
obviously,
a tale of two halves. I mean,
yes.
We saw it. I mean, the Bears had the ball for less than 10 plays in the first half, I believe. I mean, they got their first down at the very end. To their credit, I mean, they came out and they started playing offense. Their defense held Detroit a couple times, kept them in the game. I'm just happy what I'm seeing from the quarterback. Yes, he makes mistakes. Yes, he holds on to the ball sometimes. I mean, this is stuff that's easily correctable. Like, the things he does, his pocket presence, his arm, like, you see it. And, like, I'm right now, it's all about him right now. It's keeping him upright. It's keeping him and making him better. And I think this guy, the OC they have right now is doing that. So, I mean, I'm just happy to see that. Right now they have top 10 draft pick, Brian, again. So, I mean,
building.
And they have multiple second-round picks also, I believe. So, I mean, this team, I believe they have, like, picks coming up in this draft still. So, I mean, the opportunities there. I knew Tony would be wearing that Michigan hoodie today. I knew that.
Gotta love it, gentlemen. Gotta love it.
I knew that. Yeah. So, like I said, Brian, it's this year's it's done. So let's get Caleb better and move forward.
Tony, you were just talking. Go ahead, Drew.
I'm sorry. I wasn't going to speak much on this game. Everything else is right on money, dude. I don't know if you guys talked about the Jets or not, about that breaking news that came out about a couple minutes ago. Long story short, man, man, you gotta be happy to see what Caleb Bivens has been able to do. To be able to make those adjustments in the second half offensively, DJ Moore reminding people how good of a receiver it was. That trade was worth every penny, in my opinion. Just got to get a consistent basis, like you already said, which I think will happen as you go into year 2 with Caleb Williams. That time management, that's going to be the talk of the year. It's just horrific time management after the sack.
Unbelievable.
Caleb has to take some blame there for taking the sack and knowing that there's only a limited amount of time left.
Drew, did you see the play?
No, the quarterback draw that he changed to.
No one blocked. So I mean,
both tackles. Yeah, both tackles went into the B gap, I guess you could say.
Yeah, they blocked down.
And both guys run out the ends.
I mean, it was a whole clusterfuck. But then
it was.
But what's going on in his ear? You get that 15 seconds. What are they telling him? Like, it's just mass confusion, and it was just like the coach was just standing there and leaving everyone out to dry.
When you see the clock running down, and I've been taught this. I'm pretty sure Quig has been taught this, and all this taught us. I mean, you gotta know in your mind you're counting time, and you just gotta do something. I mean, I believe anybody on the field can call a timeout besides the quarterback, and then obviously on the sideline, it's just a head coach that can call a timeout. But just stand there and just look and
How damning were Caleb Williams' statement though, right? I mean, Caleb Williams' statement after the game about, like, maybe this is the coaching staff and maybe a couple further along in my career, I'll be able to make that call. That's not leadership
Nah,
at any
yeah.
level.
Agree. I
got.
was just gonna get to that quick. I agree with you on that. Yeah, that's it for me, Brian. Over the now, I think this game for the playoffs perspective for the Lions,
Huge.
their defense is not. I think they're rooting the Raven too much on this defense because I see a lot of weaknesses on this defense, especially in the second half adjustments that they did not make.
And they had a ton of
Chicago.
injuries. They had a ton of injuries.
They have a ton of injuries on the DNs.
Yeah,
It's gonna, and now Malcolm Rodriguez is gonna be gone for the year with a torn ACL, who's probably one of the most sneaky middle linebackers
yeah, he's good.
that you can have. He's a good coverage guy, good anticipation on the run, fills the gaps. They're gonna miss that. So this defense is really not that fearful. It kind of reminds a lot of Baltimore Ravens on the flip side of the AFC. So I want to put that in there just to say that I'm not really running away saying the Lions are this great of a team because of their defense. It's just kind of scary. Go Michigan.
Tony,
Before Alex is on today.
Before you jumped on, Anthony was waxing poetic about the end of the Matt Eberflus era in Chicago, and we all kind of think they need an offensive head coach. They're linked to Notre Dame's head coach right now, Marcus Freeman, which makes no sense. Your thoughts on that whole situation?
In regards to the Bears' offense, I don't know. Like I said the other day, you need Caleb Williams to continue to develop, and whatever quarterback coach you bring in needs to have a sole purpose in getting him developed because you have so much invested in him. You see the trouble that your boy Trevor Lawrence has been going through with so many coaching changes. You make the investment in number one pick, you don't get a coach in there to to kind of help him grow. It was just nonsense after nonsense. The Bears can't fall into that trap. What they need to do is they need to find and target the coach. The guy from Notre Dame is I don't know. It's a social media kind of celebrity style pick. Not really somebody that's going to really kind of help him bring in. As Drew well knows, the boy that should be in Chicago is coaching his Chargers team right now. So that would have been the perfect marriage. But the Raiders the Bears let that one slip away. So I don't know who's out there. I don't know who's going to be available. You just don't want to see a retread like Cliff Kingsbury or something like that. That'll be a death sentence.
Well, see, I thought that might be an actual answer because again, he's worked with Caleb before.
But his success in the NFL as a head coach isn't there, and you see Jaden Daniels has had a nice little group, but we talked about 2 weeks ago, there's been regression in him, similar to how Kyle Murray regressed in his first season. So I'm out on the Cliff Kingsbury anything. So he's got great hair though, the guy. I mean, you can't blame him on that. Little jaws there.
I mean, the guy they have now too is on an audition, so he could stay as an OC, and then you get a different head coach. Like I said, there's so many options.
Is that who the interim is?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Thomas Brown.
Yeah.
Thomas Brown. That's Thomas Brown. Yeah.
It's a big offseason for the Bears coming up. But again, for the Lions, we talked about this last week. They would love to get the number one seed in the NFC and have the road to the Super Bowl be all indoors in climate control where they can air it out and run it out and everything that they do offensively. Again, did they got the win? Yes. They were ahead by a lot, took their foot off the gas. Okay. But I mean,
division game.
Yeah, exactly right.
The Bears play them well all the time. They beat them last year. They should have beat them twice last year. So, I was expecting a close game.
Lions get out of there with a win. They have one loss on the season. Hey, Tony, did you hear that Jerry Jones is open to bringing back head coach Mike McCarthy and was saying how he's a Super Bowl winning head coach and a great head coach and all these things that make me want to bash my head through this window over here. Did you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah. I mean, he sounded like he was trying to pad his resume for his next position. And if he does come back to Dallas, I'm sure it'll be in some kind of capacity as, facilities management or waste management or environmental services or something like that. Because at this point in his career, he's not a head coach at all. Like I said last week, if you want to go do a little run with Aaron Rodgers, but he won't be back in Dallas as coach. That's pretty damn sure. But it's Jerry being Jerry. He's not going to bash the guy. When he didn't renew his contract, the writing was on the wall. The only thing that was going to save him was probably, an NFC East championship appearance, and that surely isn't happening. So he's gone. Just like when you have one of them employees that you don't want anymore, but like, hey, I'll write you a great review, great letter of recommendation, everything like that as you're going out the door. So it's a similar situation. I'm not worried about what Jerry's saying.
What kind of coach you want in Dallas, Brian? Tony? What kind of coach you looking for? You know what I mean?
Well, it would have to be a partnership. I'd love to have a defensive head coach that comes in there. I'd like the idea of Vrabel with guys like Parsons and Overshone and these guys kind of get them like that toughness. I think this team is lacking in certain areas just overall. But that doesn't do anything for the offense. So it would have to be a good marriage. Ben Johnson is Chris Fallon, Lions offense coordinator. I bring him over as offense coordinator. See if we steal him. Something like that. Jerry's got the pocketbook money to do it.
Yeah, that's true. He could get an all-star cast if needed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You want to do that. Throwing the ball isn't the problem. It's blocking, it's running, it's a mindset. That's the problem in Dallas. Dak is good enough quarterback to win. You're not going to sit here and talk about how great the Lions are with Jared Goff, who's always been a solid quarterback, but he's not a huge upgrade from Dak, on his best days. So, the Lions did a good job there, but Dak has enough talent to get it done with the right supporting cast and my opinion around him.
Well, as people that watch this show can imagine, I was less than enthused with the result of the football game on Thursday as the Cowboys win for no fucking reason, 27-20 over the Giants. Cooper Rush, 21 of 36, now 195 and a touchdown, better than Drew Lock's 21 of 32 for 178. He also ran a touchdown in. Again,
is that better though, Brian? Look at the numbers: 21 for 21.
Yeah, look, he threw a touchdown.
Only 20 more yards. It's not really that.
This was not exactly the marquee quarterback matchup the NFL was looking for when they scheduled this game. Clearly,
well, they weren't looking for. But yeah, Brian, they weren't looking for a marquee matchup anyway. With Daniel Jones is in a marquee matchup. So
wow, it's. Again, this resets the level. But anyway, I was less than enthused.
Fallon needs to stop. Fallon needs to stop. He just needs to stop. I just see the cop. He'll put it up. He's not an NFL quarterback. That's the worst comment he's made in a long time.
I think they would. I think they would have if they could have. They see him in practice, so he must not be.
He's trash.
Yeah.
People need to realize that the 49ers invested so much into trading up and then drafting this guy and gave him away because he just says he can't play. If you're talking about an organization that made Brock Purdy into the 7th round, Mr. Irrelevant, into a quarterback that took his team very far in the playoffs, right? So don't tell me that they're not afraid to develop quarterbacks. Trey Lance just doesn't have it. Now,
he's saying to do what the Giants did. Just skip over the second guy, go to the third guy.
And then DeVito gets hurt. So
yeah.
The win was infuriating.
The last two.
You have to, Brian, you have to come to the terms. This is not hockey. This is not basketball. Players that are going out there, you've seen the defense playing with, they're not. You don't tank in the NFL. It just doesn't happen.
But
Brian, you're in the hunt column.
No, I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
But the only way you could tank is Parsons needs to sit. Everybody that has any viable ability on the Cowboys needs to sit because then you have to play a lesser product. You put Parsons out there, he's going to go 110 miles an hour. He's going to go around there. He's going to make plays.
Good, yeah.
And that's how it is. You can't tank in the NFL.
Drew,
I agree. I have nothing to say. I agree.
It's hard to tank. It's hard to tank, but you can move your quarterbacks around.
It can be done.
A little.
It can be done. While we're on this game,
you can't tell players the team. You can't.
No, the team. That's what I mean. The team, the whole locker room. It just everyone sees it. It's like it's over.
From the Giants' perspective, should they make a change at head coach and or general manager coming out of this season, presumably with a high pick? They're picking number 1 right now, which will give them their quarterback of the future.
That's if he wants to go there.
Well, somebody will go there. It's New York.
For me, real quick, yeah, I think the Giants should fire Joe Schoen. The GM was absolutely. I just don't think he's the dude. The fact that he's made a lot of mistakes. He hasn't signed the right guys. He hasn't drafted the right guys. I'm not with him. One good thing I would say about this though for Ant, I wouldn't be mad if the Bears went and got head coach Brian Dabble. I think if he got fired, he would be a hot commodity, but I think he would fit perfectly with the Chicago Bears.
Okay.
I totally didn't think about the opportunity that could happen if Brian does get fired, Coach Dabble. I think that'd be a perfect marriage between him and Caleb Williams. Build his confidence back up like he did with Josh Allen, and be able to get the most out of him. That would be something interesting moving forward. But if I'm the Giants, I would definitely move on from the GM. I don't know about the head coach. Not yet. I don't know. Maybe not yet.
Well. I mean, the GM has to go, but you can't blame him for Daniel Jones, right? I mean, he's not the one who drafted him.
Oh, so, that's what I was going to ask. If
he that contract though,
or if he picked him.
Well, that's the thing. So, like, I think it was Gettleman that drafted him.
It was.
Yeah. Okay.
But Schoen re-signed him, right? Schoen,
yep.
So it's
but they had to. So I wrote about this actually in my paper, in my article this past week, that again, how do you sell a fan base that you're going to not extend the quarterback when he just won a playoff game?
But Brian, do you think the fan base would have cared? I don't even.
Right. I think the statement that you made is accurate in most instances, but when you're looking at Daniel Jones and that New York fan base, I don't think that they're so stupid to think that Daniel Jones was the answer.
Yeah,
winning the game.
Well, no, but I just
the fan base that trashed Eli after winning the Super Bowl. Come on.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. It's not the player's not very good, but again, that year, that miracle bit of a run that they went on, I think was extremely counterproductive long term. I maintain.
Absolutely, yeah.
You're making it counterproductive because you've been on this podcast saying because of who they scheduled and who they played.
100%.
So it's not a miracle run; it's who they were playing against. Well, so now you're contradicting yourself by saying.
I'm not. No. It's a miracle that they still won those coin flip games. I mean, a lot of those games that year were like end of the game, last play. Like they weren't that good. It was a confluence of things, but it took their franchise off track moving forward.
Franchise tag him.
They tagged Saquon.
Then let him go. It's that easy.
I don't know if it's that easy.
I mean,
I don't think it was at the time. It wasn't that easy.
Yeah.
Trash.
I personally look, if Dable's available, I'll take him in Dallas in a heartbeat. I don't think that the coach of the GM are at fault here. I think they were dealt a bad hand and they stuck with it. They've not had their own people. This is going to be their first chance to get their own quarterback.
I think they're going to get given the chance. I think they're going to get the chance to do that. I don't see them. I don't see either of them going.
I think it'd be a mistake.
Well, and I think when you hire Dable as a head coach, you know, with questions about Daniel Jones, I think it's with the pretense of giving him an opportunity to kind of get this right. And you know, it's like, you know, when you have somebody view a situation and you just need a different perspective on it. And I think the Giants need a different perspective on Daniel Jones, you know, because what they had before wasn't working. So now they bring in Dable to give another perspective on Daniel Jones. And obviously you see how that turned out. It was what everybody thought it was. So now I think they give Dable the opportunity to move forward and get his coach and get his quarterback and figure out what it is. I think he will get that opportunity.
Shador or Carson Beck? It's not a great quarterback draft, so it's going to be a real hit or miss. It's not going to be guaranteed.
I wouldn't go quarterback.
It is not going to be guaranteed.
I go pick up a free agent and build around it.
Free agent and build around it.
Travis Hunter is the right answer.
I'd be curious to see what the market looks like. the Thursday night game, Green Bay gets a win 30-17 over the visiting extremely cold Miami Dolphins, and Dolphins don't do well in cold weather. Jordan Love, 21 of 28, 274 and 2 touchdowns, both I think lead to Jaden Reed. Tua, 365, 2 touchdowns. Jacobs led the way on the ground for Green Bay. The whole story here was Miami, the Tua in cold weather. And I don't mean like moderately cold weather. I mean, anything below 70, he's not good. So this is not exactly a surprise result if you look at it through that lens. And Green Bay gets a win to try to keep pace in that division. It's very tight.
Numbers wise.
Yeah, I mean, Tua lit it up in cold weather. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's just the running game wasn't established. Packers kind of controlled the flow, scored the touchdowns when they had to, and kind of put the pressure on them. And it wasn't a surprise to see Tyreek Hill and them guys shivering on the acting like they've never been in cold weather before, which is crazy. But yeah, I found it funny that they harp on this whole cold weather, then they do a 20-minute segment about Ingold from from Miami, who grew up in this weather. So it's like, come on, like let's some of these guys are a little bit used to this weather, but I'm not mad at them because I don't like the cold weather either.
Yeah, I mean, this was pretty much expected. I mean, I had this game. I had the Packers at the number here. Yeah, I mean, the Packers are getting good. They're starting to hit their stride. Jordan Love, I mean, they're going to be a good team if he doesn't turn the ball over. I mean, he's been turning the ball over all year. I believe he's got double-digit interceptions. So I mean, if he stays clean, I mean, this team's good. They got a really good running game. Jacobs is fit in perfect there. They got the tight end going, and they take turns. The wide receivers, you never know who's really going to hit on which week. So I mean, they have a lot of options. So yeah, the Packers are kind of hitting their stride and they're dangerous right now. I hate to say it, but that's it.
Just real quick for me, the X factor that I've seen in the last month, I would say month and a half, has been Tucker Kraft. They've been able to line him a lot at the X, Y, and Z positions as they needed to. He's really involved into a pass catching tight end. Kind of separated himself from the other guy that they drafted. I forgot his name, McDonald or something like that, but Musgrave. But he is actually absolutely killing it. It's been a great addition of getting Josh Jacobs there. He changed that offense entirely, kind of like a Joe Mixon did in Houston. The Green Bay's offense is really balanced. But the biggest thing that I'm happy to see for Jordan Love, because I kind of think he's going through, I know it's not it, but like a sophomore-y type of slump, dealing with the injuries, the knee and all that. But is the offensive line. They really picked up the game, especially on the right side, getting a little more pass protection that they were having issues with early in the year. So I'm really happy to see the involvement in the trenches for them. My biggest sorry about my daughter. My biggest issue with them moving forward, and I think Quig might agree with me on this, that their D line, especially their D tackle, I felt like, yes, A-Chain was kind of bottled up a little bit, but then he wasn't. That's the biggest thing for me, worry for them moving on, is the fact they can stop the run. I want to see them be able to stop the run. I know they can stop the pass when they can. They got some good sneaky pass rushers on the edge. But I want to see them be able to stop the run when it matters most, especially against a team like AKA the Lions, who that's their bread and butter. Is a two-headed monster between Montgomery and Gibbs. But other than that, this might be our NFC Championship game, Green Bay against Detroit.
Where do you rank the Packers in the NFC?
It's a tough question. I mean, 49ers are injury riddled. I mean, Lions, you see what they are.
Vikings.
I mean, I don't know. Jordan Love has to be more consistent, I think. Yeah. I think that's the key. I'm not really buying in on them. I think they're as you've seen in week one, they're a decent step behind Philadelphia, decent step behind Detroit. So I think they're in that fifth range in that area, possibly, if everything is going right for them. I mean, but what Jordan Love did towards the end of the season last year with that stretch was extremely impressive. You can't take anything away from him, but it seemed like he kind of came back to earth a little bit now. So it's the consistency that's going to be the key, because as you see in the playoffs, you're not going to be able to kind of turn the ball over like he has done in certain big spots this year.
Real quick for me, I mean, Lions are 1. 2, I don't know. I think it's wide open. You have the Seattle Seahawks. Who knows what's coming out of the West? Arizona losing to Seattle last week changes things. The South is Atlanta, but I think Atlanta is pretty much like a fraudulent team right now. And in the East, you got Washington and Eagles. I probably put the Eagles 2. I probably put the Packers 3.
I was thinking. I think
That's how I have it.
Yeah, I think 3 is right. I mean, I think you'd probably take Green Bay over Minnesota.
Yeah, right above them. Not much. Though.
Oh no, I would definitely take Green Bay over Minnesota.
I'm taking.
I agree, Ant. I agree.
I think it's muddled, really. Very muddled.
We'll see how. I want to see how Atlanta comes out today. They're playing a good team. I want to see how they come out and play after a bye week. Because they've been struggling.
But that's the problem with that's what I'm saying. After Philadelphia and Detroit, I mean, it's kind of just a crapshoot, really. I mean, you can make an argument for each team because I mean, listen, if Atlanta's offense is hitting like it's supposed to be hitting with all that talent around them, they're really tough. But then again, you throw the Kirk Cousins factor in, and it's like, oh, okay,
No, we froze.
why, So yeah, it makes it a little different.
I do want to say on that point what Quig just said, we did. I don't know if you saw that report or not, Brian. Earlier this morning or yesterday, I believe it was, like last night, a report came out saying that Kirk Cousins' career as a Falcon depends on these next 4 or 5 games. I believe they want to move the Penix.
Yeah,
I really believe that there's a struggle right now in the organization of who to start. There was reports about that a couple weeks ago because then now Kirk's had 2 clunkers where he didn't throw a pass touchdown, and now he had a bye week. So we're going to see what's going to happen today. Because I hope he sucks today, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, just a little tidbit of news there for you.
They're itching to play him. He must look good. He must be looking good, looking ready.
Yep.
To answer Blair's question, absolutely, 1000%.
No, it's the McCarthy fire is inevitable. So I mean, it's if he was in a multi-year contract or something like that, and I expect him to come back, but McCarthy's not coming back. So I'm glad that I'm fine that Eberflus got fired because it makes Ant happy. So then you're off. We'll have an off season to enjoy this.
Black Friday football on Amazon Prime. Chiefs take down the Raiders 19-17. Pat Mahomes 26 of 46 for 306 and a touchdown. Aiden O'Connell 340 and 2. Pacheco back on the field, didn't have a huge impact in the game. Brock Bowers continues to just be awesome for the Raiders. But really the thought coming out of this game, I was going to go right to it. Are the Chiefs overrated right now?
No, the thought coming out of this game was it's rigged. This game was rigged.
I hear you, dude. I thought
rigged.
the same thing.
This game was rigged. Carlson missed 3 field goals, and the way the game ended. I mean, if you watch the way the game ended, like you cannot trust the NFL. It's just insane.
Yeah, you're sitting there shaking your head like, how did this happen?
I was so pissed.
What is just? It's unbelievable. It's like flip to Taylor Swift in the booth cheering. It's like
I'm so fucking done with her.
I don't know what Jackson Powers was so upset about. Like obviously he must have thought he was really pissed off at the refs or something happened that triggered him to snap the ball like that. I don't know. I don't know. Like he was flipping on the sideline, So there had to be something going on.
The officials didn't even know what was going on. Honestly, it was so confusing. Because I saw one guy do this, which is the dead ball foul, no matter what time it is, and it doesn't matter what happens after that call. And then you got another guy doing this. It's just what are we doing? What is the? And then they try to explain it at the end, and I'm just like, what? So under 2 minutes, that's a live ball? I never knew that was a thing. So, yeah, I don't know, man. To answer your question, Brian. It gives me 2020 Pittsburgh Steelers vibes, where they went 11-0, and then they lost in the wild card to Alex Brown's team. That's how I feel with the Chiefs right now.
I feel their defense is starting to crumble a little bit. I mean, they've been playing elite football for a long time, and right now, I think. I mean, geez, you just have the numbers up. I mean, you just put the numbers up, Ryan. O'Connell threw for what? What did I say? 350, 340, 2 touchdowns. I mean that's concerning. The Raiders came out and kind of put it on them, kept the game close. So I mean, even though they scored 7 points, they're giving up 17 points. They're giving up a lot of yards. I think their defense. I mean, starting to come down to life.
You Brian, you might want to confirm this or not because I know you're a big gossip guy. Did Taylor Swift actually leave the stadium with Brock Bowers because he was the best tight end on the field?
Sources have not indicated that to be the case.
Kelsey's not even. He don't even.
Oh, I think this is his last year.
It's got to be.
Yeah, I think he's going to go marry a billionaire and be off into the sunset. That's what I would do.
I mean,
his brother's having too much fun, I guess.
Robinson, Gray. I mean, Gray's the main focus at tight end. Seems.
What's Kelsey's line, Brian?
What's Kelsey's what? Over under?
2 draws, but I still think he had 5 or 6 catches, right?
I mean, Hopkins is looking good in the offense. They're
Travis
they're getting Hollywood Browns coming back week 16, 17. They're going to try to get him back in.
You guys are out. I'm buying this team because we had the same conversation. We had the same conversation last year.
7 for 68 on a team high 13 targets.
I think we did have the same conversation.
We had the same conversation last year, and at the end of the day, Patrick Mahomes finds a way to win with or without some officiating help every now and then. But like I said, they're getting healthy. Pacheco is definitely gives them something that Kareem Hunt doesn't do with the explosiveness. Hopkins is a factor. Opens up stuff with Kelsey. If Brown or any of these other guys develop, at the end of the day, it's Patrick Mahomes, and they find a way to win.
Well, sure,
you can't say. Yeah, it's hard to overrate.
Different in the postseason, man.
Hard to overrate a team with Patrick Mahomes as Patrick Mahomes is the quarterback.
I do want to say, from watching this game and actually watching a full Raiders game, man, Brock Bowers is special. Good. My God, that kid is lining up everywhere. Quick said it last week about Joe Wall, and then Brock Bowers being right behind him as the best, player on the draft. It would be hard to press against it and say that Brock might be the best player in this draft because, my God, that dude was lining up at H-back and getting crosses.
I think he's the 5th best wide receiver in the league this year. There's only a couple guys, wide receivers, that have better numbers than him.
Well, fantasy-wise, he's running away with it.
He is 3rd in yards.
That's crazy.
Behind Chase and Jefferson.
With 2 horrific quarterbacks at the Raiders.
He's got wide receiver numbers.
Did you see Aiden O'Connell's?
Really good.
Did you see his touchdown where Aiden O'Connell's pretty much throw Ephus pitch to him? The ball was just.
So what's interesting about the Chiefs offense especially is so they've had Hollywood Brown out most of the year. They had Pacheco out most of the year. They replaced those guys. Now they're deeper, right? So when you get Hollywood Brown back on the field, now you have Hopkins and Worthy, you have other guys. When you get Pacheco back, you can now spell him with Kareem Hunt, and you can have talented guys that are still going to get you yards and production. So that's the thing that I think is interesting. And to me, they're the favorites till they're not. Okay. They need to lose in the playoff before I'm going to sit here and say they're not going to win again. Because they find a way. Yeah. And listen, does the NFL want them in the Super Bowl? Absolutely they do. And you know why.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing too is last year, one of these reasons that Patrick Mahomes and went on this run and everything like that is the emergence of Reese Rice, right? He's not coming back. Yeah. So you're going to need somebody like Worthy or somebody like that to actually step up, whether it's Hollywood Brown coming back, you know what I'm saying? But that development of Rice last year really helped propel them going on to their trajectory.
100%.
And listen, this offense is only going to get better. I mean, they still have a lot of games to play together, get everybody going. Yeah, it's hard. If anything, it's a good loss for the Raiders.
Yeah, they were in the game. I mean, that's people are like, the Chiefs stink because they came beat the Raiders. Hey, the Raiders beat Baltimore in Baltimore.
But the Raiders played the Chiefs well the first game they played, and last year they beat them.
They beat them, yeah.
Yeah. So
Brian, who's the number 2 team right now in the AFC? Is it Pittsburgh
in the playoff right now?
And
Buffalo's sitting at 2. Pittsburgh's at 3.
Buffalo,
What's Buffalo's
Pittsburgh.
record?
9-2.
Okay, so they're a game out essentially because they already beat the Chiefs
Yeah.
head to head. Okay, gotcha. Buffalo need the Raiders to win yesterday. Really bad.
Oh yeah.
For Friday.
Mahomes, one of the best game managers ever. Yeah, but you can't. I mean, I get what you're saying, but he's also a massive difference maker in every which way possible.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes is already top 5 quarterback in a lot of people's eyes.
Drew, did you know, and it's okay if you didn't, but did you know that Justin Herbert's just 111 yards away from having the second most passing yards in NFL history by a player in their first 5 seasons?
I had no idea.
Only Peyton Manning would have thrown for more.
How many yards does he weigh?
111 yards away from being the second best.
111?
Yeah, so he'll get it today.
Oh, that's his first half stats today.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So, I get a lot of people, what's Justin Herbert ever won? I'm like, listen, situation matters. That kid's unbelievably good. The 7-4 Chargers visiting the 6-5 Falcons, laying 1. 47.5 is the number. The Chargers are 1-4 this year against teams with a winning record, 6-0 against a team with a losing record. Atlanta's 1-5 when Cousins is not a 90 rating or better, 5-0 when he is. This is going to be it's a 1:00 game for a West Coast team. We know what that means. Drew, what's your concern level here? You're favored on the road against a decent team.
Man, first and foremost, dude, a shout out to my cousin Shanna about breast cancer. So I just want to give her a shout out real quick on that. Secondly, dude, I had the greatest. I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but I had the greatest time on Monday at SoFi.
Yeah, man.
My son. He hooked it up. They hooked it up for him. Him being autistic and all that, dude. We got our own little booth where I bought tickets, and dude, just to see his excitement in his eyes and be able to be him. Shout out to everybody who's dealing with autism, and I'm part of that selection, part of that group now, and it's a really great group to be a part of. So I want to give just a couple shout outs to SoFi Stadium for looking at my son the best they can and the Chargers. For the game wise, man, I'm excited about this game. It's a must win in my eyes for the Chargers. It's a must win for the Falcons as well, I think. But it's a must win for the Chargers today, dude. To not have J.K. Dobbins is going to suck. He's out for 4 weeks. Gus Edwards, I don't think he's going to be able to do much. We're going to get a rotation of running backs with Hassan, Gus, and Vidal. But this is like Ann just alluded to earlier. This is going to be all Justin Herbert type of game. Tons of passing. Ladd McConkey was a gem that we found in the second round. Jalen Reagor still can't catch. And, Will Dissly's a tight end. I don't know what they're going to do. They got to figure something out. But like I told Brian, like I told you guys earlier, man, in my mindset, the fact that we're 7-4 is something of greatness that I'm happy to have, because I really thought this was going to be a reboot type of year to get rid of the last remaining of Tom Telesco, Brandon Staley type of guys to get rid of. Next year, dude, we're going to have $115 million under the cap if we cut Joey Bosa, which I believe that's what we're going to do, unless he takes another restructured deal for his final year. Other than that, man, the sky's the limit for 2025. I'm excited for it, but I'm excited right now that we're 7-4. We're 3 games above 5, and if we can pull out these go 3-1 these next 4 weeks, we got the Falcons today. Obviously, we have the Chiefs next week. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then I forgot what the fourth game was, but if we go 3-1 these next 4 weeks, I'm pretty sure we'll make the playoffs. And but today, man, it's just holding the line. Having abused the right side of the offensive line for Atlanta with I always forget his name, the right tackle for Atlanta, but he's not really good. I'm hoping Joey just has the game, and I hope we can contain Bijan Robinson to the most. Yeah, man, it's all on Justin Herbert and this offense of the Chargers to be able to be productive, to get to third down conversions, control the TOP. And get a win, man. We need a win today. We got to win today.
You there? Did we lose
No.
Anthony?
What the fuck?
Tony, your thoughts while he's getting his tech fixed.
Shout out to Kevin.
Yeah, I mean, I think this isn't a great 1 o'clock slate, but I think this is definitely an intriguing game where we see what offenses can click. Um, you know, this is a game that if the Falcons are going to be contenders in the NFC, they have to come out, they have to win, they have to beat a team that of the Chargers that is heading in the right direction after you know the coaching change and everything like that. They just have a better feel as a team, and Drew Ruster feel good about that. Um, the Falcons being a home dog, they have to kind of show a little bit of pride and kind of take it effect. You're gonna have to keep Kirk Cousins upright. He's gonna have a big Drake London game and keep him on. And Bijan Robinson is gonna have to do everything on their side. I do like the Falcons today at home, and I think they're gonna have to try to impose their will on the rest of the NFC South, and this is a good starting point for it to beat a good Chargers team. Should be a great game.
What do you think the impact is of them losing Dobbins for the next 4 games is? He's been a really, really good find for them. He's always was talented, but he can't stay healthy. You're seeing a little bit of that now. I guess Gus Edwards is going to fill in with Vidal kind of spelling him there. Just what do you think that causes some issues for the Chargers not having a guy like Dobbins?
I mean, it does, but I think I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think I have him in any fantasy league, so I think his numbers have dipped a little bit. What did he do last week? Anything special before getting hurt? No.
Not a whole lot.
And then after that, the game before, like he started out like a man on fire in the first couple games and kind of settled down, and it seemed like the offense became a little bit more balanced. But Edwards is one of them guys that just doesn't go away. He always is a solid contributor. He doesn't do anything spectacular. Not really much breakaway speed or anything like that going on. I think that's going to be what the Chargers are going to have to find. Is Chargers are going to have to find that playmaker. Quentin Johnson stepped up and made some big plays, but the offense as a whole needs to find that playmaker that could kind of get them the ball. I mean, mostly every team has them, except maybe the Patriots. And I think the Chargers to take the step the next level, they're going to need somebody that scares other teams from when they get the ball. So Edwards isn't going to be that. Dobbins hit and miss, but he's not around. So I think that's going to be their biggest downfall with that.
Drew, are you concerned?
What's that?
Without Dobbins?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Of course, I'm concerned. He's the more complete bag than what we have on the roster. I'm pretty sure that's going to be fixed as we head into next season. But yeah, Tom's right. Quick hit it right on the money, man. It's 2 weeks ago he had a touchdown. He went for 98 yards. Last week against Baltimore, he got swallowed up. So it's a multitude of things. I think they have a playmaker in Ladd, but he's not that number one dude. And I think that's pretty obvious. It's going to be very interesting to see what they do in the offseason receiver-wise.
I think they win today. I'm not really concerned about the 1 o'clock start. They're just so good defensively. I mean, I know they had a rough week last week. That happens. You can tell. I mean, that's coaching is what it is. And their defense has been very, very stingy this year. Atlanta's Atlanta. I mean, yeah, they're better at home, I guess, but they're not lighting the world on fire either. I think the Chargers get a win today coming off that loss last week.
I hope so.
The 8-3 Pittsburgh Steelers are underdogs at the 4-7 Bengals, who are laying 46.5 is the number. A win today or any week, the remainder of the year, would clinch the 21st consecutive non-losing season for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Joe Burrow could be the third quarterback in 50 years to lead the league in touchdown passes on a team with a losing record, joining Drew Brees and Joe Montana. Pretty decent company to be in there. Tony, why are the Bengals favored in this game?
I mean, because the Steelers don't have many believers, I'm not one of them as well. I mean, the Steelers defense is only going to carry them so far without the offense running. I think the backs both took a big step back last week. Then if you make Russell Wilson beat you, that's going to be a problem for the most part. So it's it's Joe Burrow too, right? I mean, they're at home. It's the game. Joe Burrow, relatively healthy Bengals team against the Steelers team that just doesn't scare anybody on offense. If Mr. Pickens doesn't have a game like Carl did in in Cincinnati, it's going to be tough for
Carl
the Steelers.
Pickens.
I like Cincinnati today. I think that they're going to be able to outpace the Steelers. Spread the ball around the Chase, get T. Higgins involved, and Chase Brown, has that breakaway ability too. So I just think it's a little bit more dynamic on the other side of the ball than what the Steelers will be able to. People talk about the Chiefs being a little bit overrated for whatever reason. I think the Steelers team is going to be crashing down to earth when it matters.
I'll go real quick. I'm not going to take a lot into account, Brian, of last week because it was such a weird weather game. Tons of snow. It makes it a coin flip. Today would be the day where I'm gonna lean towards Quig if they lose today, and I think they will. I'm going Cincinnati today to win. Their offense is just too powerful. It's crazy. Like I said a couple weeks ago, the Chargers won. They're the greatest, probably the greatest historically 4-7 team we have ever seen in the NFL, just because that's how bad their defense is. But I think their defense has played a lot better these last couple of weeks. And I know they're favored today, but I still think it's going to be a shock that they win today for some people. So they are going to affect the AFC overall standings today. I think Joe Burrow is definitely going to lead the league in touchdowns again. And you talk about a team that has a lot of interest heading into the offseason. The Bengals have a lot of interest because they still have two receivers that they have not signed. And it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to give Jamar Chase because we already know they're signing Jamar Chase over T. Higgins. So interesting to see. On the flip side of the Pittsburgh Steelers, not much to say. We'll see what Russell Wilson can do today and get this ship back steering right to a win because they're going to need it.
I'm gonna jump on board with these guys. Yeah, I'm buying it. I'm buying it down today. I'm gonna buy it down to 2.5. I like the Bengals today. I just think they're a desperate team. I think they're a team right now that knows they have to absolutely win every game. And to do it against a rival, I think they're going to be right come to play today. Two guys I like, obviously, Jamar Chase. I like him anytime today. And for the Steelers, the guy I like, Jalen Warren to score also. I think he's getting more involved in this in the Steelers offense. And this Bengals defense isn't anything to rave about. So I think the Steelers could have a day offensively. I actually kind of think this over could hit also. But give me the Bengals at -2.5. Give me a Chase and a Warren touchdown.
Joe Burrow's playing great. It's that defense because everybody made a big thing out of them missing Joe Mixon. But listen, I really think that Chase Brown's been real good when given the opportunity.
He's been great.
It's that defense. It's just not helping.
Up. Yep.
And they will address it in the offseason. I mean, they are really wasting an unbelievable year here by Joe Burrow. I mean, it's really a shame. And again, if they don't keep T. Higgins, they may have to address that in the offseason as well, unless an internal solution like Joseph Osser-Burton can take that role, which you don't know that they can or they can't, but it does hurt your receiver depth.
Completely different types of players than T. Higgins.
I agree.
If Burton can be what they expect him to be, that would be a great trio. But he's got to get his head on straight. The kid just doesn't have it in between the years.
Yeah.
From Bama, go figure.
The 6-5 Arizona Cardinals visiting the 9-2 Vikings, who are laying 3 at home. 45 is the number. Kyler Murray is 0-4 career against the number one run defense entering that week, which Minnesota is. Minnesota's 9-0 when holding opponents under 30 points. 0-2 if they break the 30 number. So that might be the special number for the Cards today. Anthony, Vikings are in your division. They're a very surprise. I don't know which of these teams is actually more surprising. Because I think, I don't know what people thought about Arizona coming in, but Minnesota at 9-2 is a very, very sizable jump for where people thought they would be. Tough game for them today. I don't know where I kind of like Arizona here.
Listen, the Vikings are playing well. And, we didn't really expect this from Sam Darnold, and he's playing well. He's getting the job done. They're a well-rounded team. They have weapons all around. They got Jefferson, obviously, Addison, Hawkinson. And their defense has been playing well. Like you said, number one run defense. Flores has got them playing really well. They're a well-coached team. I'm taking the Vikings here today. Again, I'm buying it down to 2.5. I'm gonna save the push. I'm gonna take the Vikings. I think Jefferson gets back today. He's been kind of sleeping a little bit. Give me Jefferson today with an anytime touchdown. Give me over 70 yards for him. And I think the Vikings get it done today. The Cardinals, they've been sputtering. They had a tough week last week in Seattle. So I'm going to take the Vikings here at home.
I'm also taking the Vikings, Brian. It's been more surprising to see the Vikings what they've been able to do with Sam Darnold and the whole narrative of him seeing ghosts. He might be coming back down to earth, but it's still a reasonable thing. Not reasonable, but it's still a manageable thing that he's been able to do at the quarterback position. They have an interesting thing in their offseason as well, because they got the whole issue of J.J. McCarthy getting a second surgery, and then what are they going to do? Because I think the Daniel Jones signing is giving us a lot of information where I think they're not going to bring him back next year for Sam Darnold. So we're going to see what he can do in the open market. Overall, you already said it. The number one run defense was on my notes. Cardinals are definitely going to have a struggle today, especially against the Brian Flores' defense. I'm definitely going Minnesota today. Put them at 10-2 in the NFC North. Make it I think this is how it's going to be until the Vikings play the Packers again, which I don't know what week
next week.
Is it next week?
I believe so.
I hope that's a Sunday night game, boy.
I think it's a Thursday night game.
Hold on.
Oh, is it?
I think so.
Oh, beautiful.
No. So Green Bay's got the Lions on Thursday night.
Thursday. I knew it was a big game on Thursday.
Who does Vikings got next week?
Atlanta.
I knew there was a big
When do they play again, Brian?
So the Vikings have the Packers on the 29th of December at home. So the remaining schedule for the Vikings, they got 3 straight home games here. The Cardinals, the Falcons, the Bears. They go to Seattle. They got the Packers at home, and they go to Detroit.
That's a tough schedule.
So explain to me this. Cardinals coming off a bye week, go to Seattle and do absolutely nothing. Is that just a sign of doom? Really a head scratcher, huge division game. You think that they would be prepared, and they weren't prepared. Did you guys mention about the John Connor contract?
Did not.
No.
Okay, so he just gets a contract extension after going. What do you have? 7 carries for 7 yards last week.
Mm-hmm.
How does that happen? Who looked at that game in Seattle and said, it'd be a great time to extend this guy? I don't know. I mean, and he's kind of performed a little bit above my expectations as he's been in Arizona. But I mean, it's just weird. How is that a barometer for your football team to go out there, score 6 points after a bye week, and then give the guy $20 million who didn't do dick the week before during the game?
When his backup's playing well, and his backup's a pretty good player.
Overall body of work, I guess I would say, Quinn.
Listen, this isn't the Hall of Fame, and this you don't get paid for what you did. You gotta get paid for what you've done, right? So what you're about to do, and it just doesn't make sense. I think it's a bad message to the Cardinals. I like Minnesota. I'm all on Jefferson today too.
No touchdowns in 5 straight.
What's that?
No touchdowns in 5 games for him.
So you're saying
For
he's good?
Connor?
No, for Jefferson.
What I say, Addison has just been a monster. But listen, the offense in the Cardinals is Trey McBride. He's continuing to he'll continue to have a big week. I do like Jefferson to bounce back and kind of break out of this funk. I mean, he's second in yards. He's putting yards out there. He's going to have to get in the end zone because he's on a Julio Jones trajectory this year. From
yards and no touchdowns.
Yeah, exactly. So I like Minnesota in this game. See if Darnold is a little more focused coming into that, So I just have zero faith in Arizona after what they did last week.
Yeah, Addison really hasn't been a monster. I don't know where he had that one big game last week. He's only had 32 catches yards and 4 TDs. He's been hurt though, so he's been hurt for 3 or 4 weeks. But you're right about Connor. I just looked at his numbers. It's not that great. He only has over 700 yards and 5 touchdowns. So it's not really. I don't know why he got the extension he did. So that's a good observation, Quick.
But it's not really about what he's done. It's like the timing of it just doesn't seem right. You know what I'm saying? Like he could have been having a great year, but then like you go out there, you lay a dud in Seattle, big game, coming off a bye. He has one of his probably the worst game of his season I can imagine. I mean, can't imagine him having a game under 7-8 yards. So it's just I don't know what message you're trying to send to the rest of the team or what's going on. So if we just laid a dud with that, I mean, he's walking home from Seattle, that kind of spot. Like I'm not like, all right, we'll give you a 2-year extension. Just weird. I think it might reverberate throughout the entire team.
Well, unlike last week, this is our first matchup of teams with 2 losing records coming into the day. The 5-7 Colts at the 3-9 Patriots. Colts laying 2.5. The over/under is 42.5. The Colts have the easiest remaining strength of schedule in the league at just 298. So now I am curious as to who the hell they're playing, because that's pretty bad. So their remaining games the rest of the way are at New England, at Denver, hosting Tennessee, at the Giants, hosting the Jaguars. If they go 4-1 in that stretch, that puts them at 9-8. Is 9-8 enough to get in the playoffs?
I think so. With the AFC, how the AFC is going with the 7th seed, right? I mean,
the 7th seed 7-5 right now, and it's Denver.
I think they'd have to lose some kind of tiebreaker. I just can't see them getting in with that. Like
Well, they're going to lose the head-to-head at Denver.
Well, they got Denver next week.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If they lose that game, that's probably going to be the ultimate deciding factor, right, of the 7th seed. Is there a team that's close between those two? Like Cincinnati's out of it, right? They're 4 and.
Cincinnati's 4-7. The Dolphins and Colts are both 5-7. Cincinnati's 4-7. Could be 5-7 if they win today.
Dolphins still have Buffalo Bills still left in there, I believe, right? I mean, the
Dolphins have the Jets, the Texans, the Niners, the Browns, and the Jets.
Oh no, they're done.
I don't know. Why are they done?
I'll go real quick. I got the Colts winning this game today. I'm sorry. I got New England winning that game today. At New England, I like them a lot. They have nothing to play for, and it's just that's a scary ingredient to have. Drake May has been great so far in what he's been able to do as a rookie and what he has around him. Demario Douglas Ant is the guy I'm looking at, over 35.5 receiving yards. I'm taking the over on him. I just don't. I don't know about you guys and how you guys feel. I just don't like the head coach of New England. I don't think it's a good fit, man. He's trying too hard to be Bill. It's just I think he's worse from his verbal assaults that he has on his team and all the BS. I don't know if he's playing mind games or not, but Mayo is just I don't see the fit there at all whatsoever. But I'm interested to see what New England's going to do in the offseason to improve, because I think they have some good pieces. On the flip side of the Colts, I don't like what I'm seeing as of late. Jonathan Taylor has been a shell of himself these last 3 weeks. Not one touchdown. O-line hasn't been playing great. The mixture of quarterbacks between Joe Flacco and Anthony Richardson, the issues, the tapping the helmet, Shane Steichen having issues now reportedly with the GM. It's just a bunch of issues right now in Indy, and I don't want to touch Indy right now. It's just too crazy, chaotic. Let's go New England with the upset today.
Yeah, I like New England too, Drew. The Patriots run defense has been pretty solid. They kind of even though they couldn't keep up with the passing game of Miami, but they really kind of contained the backs in last week. I think it's going to be more of the same. And the problem for the Colts, if they can't run the ball, they really can't pass the ball. So the over under here. I don't know. I mean, I want to say under, because I just can't see it be, these two teams kind of play to each other's strengths. And I think it'll be a stalemate for the most part. I'll take the Patriots. I'll take the points at home. And I think Drake May makes one more play than Anthony Richardson to win the game.
Yeah, this is a tough one for me. I lean like you guys. I lean towards the home team, the home dog. I do like the under here. I don't think there's going to be much going on. Think a lot of run attempts. I don't know what to think of this Colts team because I don't know what to think of the quarterback. It's he needs a lot of improving, and really has no confidence in his game. I think they could really lose to anybody because of him. So, yeah, I'll lean towards the Patriots today. A couple of things I like. You mentioned Douglas, Drew. I like him to score today, actually. Plus
That's a good one.
Plus 330. That's pretty good value. He's been he's been the main target, it seems like, for Drake May. So I like him today on that. And check out Pierce's numbers. I mean, Downs is down today, so give me Pierce for over 40, 50 yards. I think that's a good play for that. But, yeah, other than that, that's it for this game.
I think Drake May's played really well. But again, it's still like he doesn't have a lot around him just yet. So I think that's why they kind of like.
It's really the offensive line for them. They struggle in the interior. I think that's going to be a main focus for the Patriots.
There needs to be Quig and Ann and Brian. There needs to be a 30-30 documentary on the downfall of the career of Quentin Nelson. There needs to be a documentary on this dude. The fact that he went from a Hall of Fame trajectory as a guard his rookie year to saying he was one of the best of all time to.
Yeah, I mean,
crazy.
That was an actual pick. I would that year. I think he went before.
He went 2 or 3, I believe.
6.
No, yeah, he went 6.
Oh, 6, okay.
And the Bears that year made a horrible pick and didn't pick him. And I was upset about that. No,
we could do a 2-part episode. It could be a limited series with Zach Martin.
A limited series. Netflix.
Yeah. Sportsbox.com. I lean New England. I don't like Richardson at all. Seattle 6-5, Jets 3-8, Jets laying 41.5 is the number. Seattle's one of 2 teams in the league with multiple 650-yard receivers this year. The Jets have scored less than 20 points in 5 games this year, and they are 0-5 in those 5 games. The story now that we're hearing today is that it is highly unlikely Aaron Rodgers comes back to New York next year. Don't know what that means for him. Don't know what that means for the Jets, but they're in the market again looking for a quarterback. And I'll tell you one thing, don't be overly surprised if Atlanta goes to Michael Penix that Kirk Cousins might be a name you hear linked to the New York Jets.
That's a good call. That's a good call.
Interesting. Mm-hmm.
Good call.
Or the Giants for that matter.
Sure.
I'll go real quick as always. Seahawks, I never do. Seahawks are definitely going to win this game. I have them winning in New York. I know it's West Coast to East Coast. I'm going Seattle. Give me Ken Walker a lot today. Jets have one of the worst run defenses in the NFL. I believe they're like between 18 and 22. It's just so much drama in New York right now going on. I don't even want to touch it. I honestly, Brian, I axe everything. Anything that has anything to connect with Aaron Rodgers, I just get rid of it all. Devontae Adams is going to opt out of his year. I think he has a 1-year deal, right? I believe he can opt out of it, or they can release him.
They reworked something.
I think so. Yeah, I would get rid of him. I get rid of Alan Lazard. I get rid of Nathaniel Hackett, and hopefully he never returns to being a coach ever again. And it's just a multitude of issues. They don't even know who their owner is right now, and that's how bad it is right now in New York. There's been reports of Jeff Bezos taking over the New York Jets after the year is done. So if that happens, then happy for you, New York fans. Good luck on finding a quarterback in the team. Other than that, man, it's Seattle all day today. Give me Seahawks, and I'm going to make a bold prediction. I don't know if it's bold or not, but I think Seattle will definitely win the NFC West moving forward the rest of the season, which is going to be kind of crazy because 4 weeks ago they were below 500. So, give me Seattle.
So, Avante Adams is signed for 2 more years.
So they can't. What's the dead cap on that? Because I heard that.
Yeah. So like his cap, so his cap number next year in the next 2 years is $38 million. If they cut him prior to June 1st, it's an $8 million dead cap and a $30 million opening, which seems like a very easy decision to make.
Yeah. So they're going to cut him.
Yeah. I can't imagine that they don't.
No, there's no way.
Yeah, they're cleaning house.
They're cleaning house.
Yeah. Which, listen, I don't have a problem with them doing what they did. Like, you tried it when you think you have a shot, you do that kind of stuff. That's fine. I had no problem with it. It just didn't work out. That's okay. Sometimes you push your chips in the middle and you lose.
And you know what else didn't work out? Geno Smith playing in the Meadowlands. That didn't work out.
Which he's playing there today.
And he's back there for the first time. Listen, Geno Smith, lots of yards. Also, he's got a 1-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio.
Yeah.
12 interceptions, way too high. Jets coming off a bye. We'll see if they're focused a little bit. I think that after what Seattle did last week, everyone and their mother should be expecting Seattle to come in and dest a struggling Jets team. But this is an NFL game, and no fucking logic is what it stands for this week. And I'm going to take the Jets laying 1 at home.
Last week was the Jets' second best week since the 19th of September.
They're on a bye. Yeah.
I agree with Tony's logic. It's the
Garrett Wilson, big game today. Garrett Wilson,
I hear you. Yeah. I lean
JSN.
I was going to mention JSN. He's been on a roll. He's got a good rapport with Geno. So I'll lean the Jets here. Give me the Jets and give me a JSN touchdown. I think he gets in the end zone.
Who would you rather play today, Tony? Drake London or Garrett Wilson?
Drake London.
Okay. I'm on a team where I have no spot for Garrett Wilson. So good the team is.
Yeah, and it wound up one of my leagues. I wound up with Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson on the same team. So
that would appear at least.
I thought I had a solid wide receiver 3 locked down. With them two guys being high end wide receiver 3.
Yeah.
And now they're on the same team, and yeah.
And they both have
and they do nothing.
Yeah. Well, Wilson. Well, actually, Garrett Wilson's been pretty productive.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yep.
The 3-8 Tennessee Titans visiting our nation's capital against the 7-5 Commanders, who are laying 6. The number is 45. Will Levis, the first since the merger to have 105-plus passer rating in 3 straight games where he's been sacked over 20 times.
Ugh.
Fix that offensive line. Jesus. Daniels, 68.4% completion percentage. That's 9th in the NFL. That will be the highest by a rookie with a minimum of 200 attempts in the history of the NFL. Playing well. Look, Tennessee is just, man, the defense we know is pretty good. I mean, it's one of the top defenses in yards allowed. I mean, God, they need to invest in offensive line something fierce. I mean, it's 20 sacks in 3 games. My God, you're going to kill the guy.
But they can run the ball, as Tony Pollard's been showing you last week. Is another big game for him. I don't know. I think Washington giving 6, this might be a little bit high. I think the Titans can keep the game a little bit close. Eckler is out today, which he's kind of been 4 weeks, right? But he kind of gave them a good dynamic, and Brian Robinson Jr. hasn't been able to stay healthy. So I mean, it's interesting to see what they're going to be able to do on the ground. I do like Robinson Jr. talent wise, but is he going to give you a couple carries and sit out for the rest of the game? And yeah, Rodriguez or McLaughlin take the helm, which is a little weird. Titans defense is going to make Jaden Daniels prove it to him too. So we'll see. But I think this game's close. I'll take the Titans plus the 6.
Real quick for me, I'm taking Zach Ertz over his catches. It's at 4.5 right now. I'll take the Zach Ertz. That he's been one of the most, I think, top 3 targeted tight ends in the last month. Give me him. Jaden Daniels. I got the Commanders winning today, Brian. They should win. They should win this game with how bad they're the Titans' offensive line that you already talked about. Washington's front has always been pretty pass rush savvy as they have been. Their secondary, though, for the Commanders is the question part for me. I took Calvin Ridley over 65.5 yards against Commanders. He's been on fire this last month. Will Levis, as you wrote on here, his 105 plus passer rating. He's been playing good ball with a horrific goal line. He still makes stupid ass, dumb ass decisions, but at the end of the day, he is playing good balls. You got to give him credit for that. But overall, man, Commanders just released Emmanuel Forbes, the 2023 first round pick. They have they did get Lattimore. He is playing today. So it's gonna be interesting to see Lattimore be able to do this and fix the secondary up a little bit. But that's their big overall weak spot for the Commanders on defense is their secondary. So we'll see if Tennessee can abuse it. But at the end of the day, I'm going to go Commanders. Jerry McNichols, he might do something on the running back side for the Commanders. Not a lot, but it's not bad to have him. I think he has like 4 or 5 touchdowns this year. So we'll see how they do.
I'm wondering if the let down from the Cowboys stinging loss is still in that locker room, and then maybe a look ahead to the bye week. So I think it's a very sneaky spot for Tennessee here.
It's a good call.
Yeah, I agree here. I like Tennessee today. I'll take the +6. And listen, I even think Tennessee can win this game on the money line +205. I think I think they're playing well enough offensively for this Commanders defense. I think Jaden Daniels, he's had a step down. He's coming down a little bit. And this Titans defense is tough, like we talked about. I think it could give them a lot of trouble. I expect a close game here, so I'm going to take the Titans to win outright here. And I like so we're talking about their passing game, that Nick Westbrook Ignigta. I mean, he's been playing
NHI.
Yeah, he's been playing well, man. So I got him today. Anytime.
Sounds like a government agency.
Yeah, I got him today. +245 on an anytime touchdown. I think that's where the Titans are going to get the Commanders today. So give me that guy and give me the Titans today.
Does he have the new nickname, the law firm, taking it from Ben Jarvis Green Ellis?
Oh boy. Houston Texans, Jacksonville Jaguars, 7-5 at 2-9. Houston laying 3.5, 44 is the number. Houston leads the NFL with 23 takeaways and 59 forced punts. Defense playing well there. Jacksonville's allowed 92 plays of 15 yards or more. That's second only to Baltimore. So Baltimore seems to be doing fine. Jacksonville, not so much. Trevor Lawrence should get the start today, back from the shoulder injury, which, you may think he's terrible, but Mac Jones is clearly a lot worse. So, that helps a little bit. Houston only 3.5-point favorite in a divisional game. Things happen, but you got to think the Texans probably take this one.
I'll start off. This is another upset special. I think that could happen today. I think the Jags could hang here with the Texans. The Texans have not looked good. I mean, let's look at last week. The Titans took the Texans down at home. No one had that game, so I think the Texans are struggling right now. Jags getting their quarterback back. I'm taking the Jags today outright for the win. Give me the Jags. Give me Brian Thomas Jr. He's got a good rapport with Trevor. Give me his anytime touchdown, and I'm gonna roll with the Jags today. I'm gonna take a stab at this. I think the Texans are struggling right now.
I disagree. I'm going Texans today against the Jags. Only because Trevor Lawrence is playing quarterback. I think it's another reason why he's, for some godforsaken reason, why I think it's the same shoulder. He had an injury last year and he had this year again. He looks like he's having some shoulder problems. The O-line's terrible for the Jags. Trevor Lawrence hasn't played great football in the last 2 years. They don't know what they're doing in the running back situation. Looks like Bigsby's going to be running the whole thing, and Travis Etienne's going to be a rotational piece, which is absolutely crazy compared to last year when this guy was breaking away as one of the best running backs. So that's crazy. Texans, Joe Mixon should be eating on this defense to Jacksonville. Give me Joe Mixon's rushing yards over. Give me Nico Collins over. And I think C.J. Stroud needs to work on his decision-making as well, because he's also having a sophomore-ish slump as well, but he needs to work on his decisions, his throwing, his accuracy. This is a game to get better. So I got the Texans win this game, boys. 8-5.
When's Dougie?
This is an extremely weird game for the Texans. Shouldn't have played like they played last week at all. They didn't really show any heart. It'll be interesting to see if they go down and take on this Jaguars team who has even more problems than they're having. Joe Mixon, after that big game, went back crashing down to earth last week. He's going to have to start it up. But then every week, death taxes Nico Collins. Nico Collins is going to have a big game. He has a big game pretty much every time he's needed. So it's going to be interesting to see him come through. So that's really the only play I'm on, Nico Collins, in this game. And if Houston does struggle, it's going to be very, very telling for a once bright future of C.J. Stroud. Typical Buckeye.
Everybody's like, why isn't Stroud in your top quarterbacks? I'm like, because he went to Ohio State and they never have anybody good come out of Ohio State. That's why I got to see it.
I love seeing Ryan Day just not help his team out after the game yesterday. It was great.
And Chip Kelly and Chip Kelly's the
coach.
offensive coordinator. And Chip Kelly's the offensive coordinator. Oh, I hate Ohio State too.
I can't stand Ohio State.
So
It's like if you can find a way to make Urban Meyer look good, they're really trying. They're really trying in Ohio State.
Bring him back. That's what they're probably saying right now.
And one thing that I hate is that Urban Meyer's been hanging out in South Jersey in this area, and it's not sitting well with me.
How did you find out about that?
You feel the slide.
It's just business stuff on golf course crap, but it makes me cringe.
He's trying to get a membership. He's trying to get a membership.
He's
trying to get a
membership. He's got one. He's got one.
On to the late window, the LA Rams at 5-6, visiting the 4-7 Saints, laying 3 on the road. 49 is the number. Rams 1-5 when allowing 3 sacks or more, 4-1 when allowing 2 or fewer. That seems to be part of the formula there. Derek Carr 0-4 career against the Rams, 0-3 with the Raiders, 0-1 with the Saints. Now the Rams are still in this playoff hunt. They are 5-6, which means they're a game out of first place in the NFC West. This is a game, if they intend to try to make a run, they kind of need to win because the Saints aren't very good. However, the Rams at 5-6 are a minus 43 point differential. The Saints at 4-7, a +2 due to some big blowout wins earlier in the year that they're still trying to run.
Yeah.
Tough game, but I mean, again, if the Rams offensively they can be a juggernaut. Defensively, sometimes it's more of an adventure. But they've alternate wins and losses the last 4 weeks that would make them due for a win this week. Anthony, you're calling this game.
This is a tough one. I think this is a tough one. I hate I see these home dogs, and I really lean that way. The Saints on the back end are horrible. I think the Rams are really going to do some damage today with Kupp and Puka and Stafford. I think they're really going to – I like the over in this game. I would take the over here. I think it's going to be high scoring. Give me the over. Give me a Cooper Kupp touchdown, anytime touchdown. I like him over 70 yards. I like Puka over 70 yards. I like the Rams offensively today. So I'm rolling with the over here.
This is a weird one for me. I mean, are they just going to unleash Taysom Hill again and have him go berserk? I mean, I haven't really gotten a good barometer on the Saints team at all. I do like what Ant said about Puka and Kupp and everybody kind of getting it in. Stafford again. I just think that they're not going to be able to score enough on the Saints' perspective to keep up with the Rams. I don't know. It's just weird. This is a weird game. It could be a really fun game to watch. I think it's the highest over under this week.
It
right?
is. It is. Yeah. I think so.
So I'm just going to sit back and hopefully get some fantasy enjoyment from Puka and Cooper Kupp and and go from there. I don't really have a strong feel from it. I don't think I'd lay the 3 at home, but it's a game I'm kind of avoiding.
Yeah, I could see it going both ways. I feel these games are weird.
This game is just weird. Brian, I know all 3 of us. I don't know who Quig picked for the NFC West, but I know us 3 picked
Rams.
the Rams. Oh, you picked the Rams. Okay.
So
we're all on the Rams, and they have been a thorn in my ass because of how talented they are offensively, yet they don't show up against that Miami game. And that Miami game has really pissed me off because then it's been a trickle effect down. Yeah, they beat New England, but they got their butts kicked against Philly. They lost against Miami, and I really believe the Saints are going to win today. I don't know why. It's just one of those things where, and like Tone said earlier, the NFL doesn't make any freaking logic. And I just think the Saints are going to be able to pull it out and get a win. I mean, the Rams defense has not been good whatsoever these last couple of weeks. Their offensive line hasn't been able to hold up besides the New England game. They haven't been able to hold up to give Matthew Stafford time to throw the ball. They're so talented offensively. Kyren Williams he's had 2 fumbles in the last 3 weeks, 2 lost fumbles. And, Puka and Cooper, they should be killing it, man, for what they were last year. This year, they're just like, I know Puka was hurt, but it's like, I don't know what it is, man. It's just things are not clicking right. And maybe they can get it right today, but I don't see it happening. I think Derek Carr is going to have a big game today, boys. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, but I definitely would take the over on 49. But I'm with Quig, man. Taysom Hill, he just seems like that Taysom Hill every 4-week type of day, giving 3 touchdowns, whatever the case may be, dude. It's just going to be a weird game today. Give me the Saints. I'm going to go 5-7. Can't hear you, Brian.
I lean the Rams. I think they have the better quarterback. A game I think the Rams do need, especially with, again, you look around the South. We'll talk about the Niners here in a minute. We talk about Seattle probably getting a win. Arizona might as well. So they're going to keep pace. They need that win there to try to get a shot. So I will go with the Rams. I will lay the 3. This has a 27-20 kind of feel to me, like that sort of thing, which actually goes slightly under if that's the case, but which would not surprise me at all either, the way these numbers go.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay and Carolina. Tampa Bay 5-6, Panthers 3-8, 6.5 point line on the road. 46.5 is the number. Tampa could be the first team ever to win their division 3 straight years, despite being under 500 in week 13, if they do it again this year. And they are 5-6 coming into the day. Xavier Leggett's 4 touchdowns, 3rd among rookies, rookie wide receiver. So a little bit of a bright spot there. Bryce Young's played a little bit better. Listen, the Panthers were not out of place against the Chiefs for what it's worth. No moral victories, but hey, that probably was not on your bingo card. That would be as close a game as it was. Tampa's interesting, right? I mean, Tampa's going to be the beneficiary of Atlanta falters, and Atlanta tends to falter every year. So, history tells you that's probably going to happen again. Drew, your thoughts on this one?
My bold prediction for this is that the Buccaneers will win the NFC South. And I've been on this pace for a while now. I'm going to go Bucs here to win this game. Baker Mayfield, man, I don't know. You guys ever like those certain players where you're just like, you want to root for them just because how they play? They're not on your team.
Well,
Baker
or because they upset your friend when they do well.
That's it. That was my second part. I just love seeing
Baker. Call him your friend?
No, he's talking about Alex.
Browns fan.
Yeah, I love showing in his face every time Baker does something good. But yeah, dude, Baker Mayfield is just a G, dude. I just love that. I love that guy. How he plays the game, how he represents himself, and he just leaves it all out on the field, man. It's very rare we see that in the NFL from a quarterback standpoint. And I got to give him respect where respect is due. He's playing his ass off, especially losing Godwin and not having Mike Evans for the time that he didn't have him. The Bucky Irving, I'm going Bucky Irving today. Give me the over 11.5 carries. Give me the 60. I believe it was like 69.5 rushing yards and receiving yards. Give me the over on that. Give me the anytime touchdown. I'm all about Bucky Irving today against the Panthers. On the flip side, man, shout out to Dave Canales to continue what he's doing with Bryce Young. Hopefully his owner doesn't fire him and doesn't throw another drink on another person, and is able to do what he's able to do and show consistency to Bryce Young because he needs it. Bryce Young's been playing great. Let's see if he can continue this trend against one of the worst defenses in the NFL. But on the flip side for the Panthers, give me Chuba Hubbard over 65.5 rushing yards on Prize Picks. I'll take it, and I got Chuba everywhere. But yeah, I'm going Buccaneers, boys, 6-6.
I'm going to take these 6.5 points today and roll with the Panthers. I think they're playing a lot better. I think this is a division game. I don't have full faith in the Buccaneers. I think they're a wishy-washy team. You know, you see a good one week, see bad the next. I'm gonna roll with the Panthers here. Like I said, plus 6.5. I do like Bucky Irvin to score plus 110 anytime touchdown today.
Listen, take him 2 touchdowns. Let's go
Okay.
big.
Okay, I like that. I think it's
I
a
like
running
it.
back game. Hubbard also today. I think he's going to score. I like his props. I like him over 70 yards. But I think it's going to be a close game. Give me the Panthers at the plus 6.
We talked about James Conner getting signed, right? And that was kind of a little bit just weird given, you know, Trey Benson and obviously that possibility there. So were you surprised Hubbard got the money with Jonathan Brooks was a high pick for them last year?
Well, the Panthers have been in every game. Is that what you're saying, Kev? I think it's going to be a close game.
He's a Tampa
I think that I like the Hubbard pick because first of all, the guy's been playing out of his mind, right? When he wasn't really having expectations, and Stewart's coming off an injury, so you're not really, you know, stumping his clock. It's very similar. I mean, Trey Benson is in Arizona, so it's very similar. But you know, everybody knew that they were going to come in and have he's going to take some time to develop. So might as well give Hubbard the workload, wear him out, and then when Brooks is ready to kind of be the man. Maybe the Panthers will be a little bit better, and he'll have to tread on his tires.
And you said the Bucs are wishy-washy.
I think they are. They're just guys. Take 1 week. You don't know where you could get a bad Baker. So I just think it's a division game. I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think they're going to lose. I just think I think they're going to cover the 6.5.
Well, it'll go a long way, obviously, in helping the Bucs get back to the NFC South Crown with a win today, which they probably should get. Game of the week.
A flyer anytime touchdown too is the other running back. There's 3 of them, but
Rashad White.
Tucker today plus 2.
Oh, Sean Tucker.
He got a goal line carry last week. So
yeah.
Let's go back.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Game of the day, probably. The 9-2 Eagles, the 8-4 Ravens, Baltimore laying 3 at home, 50.5 is the number. Saquon Barkley, the 4th ever with 1,600 plus total scrimmage yards, 6 yards per touch, and 12 plus touchdowns in his first 11 games. 2 of the 3 that did it won the MVP of the league. Lamar Jackson leads the quarterbacks in passing yards, touchdowns, rushing yards. He'd be the first quarterback ever to do that if he does it this year. So there's no shortage of star power in this game here.
Brian, what does Jackson lead in?
Passing yards, touchdowns, and rushing yards.
What was that first one?
Passing yards.
Hold on, say it louder for the people in the back, Brian.
Currently leads the NFL in passing yards.
But he can't throw.
He can't throw.
Not well, though.
So, I mean, he must be just, dropping the ball off to Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry's doing everything, right?
I mean, a little bit of that.
I mean, so it's just Justin Jefferson's just lighting it up, or Jamar Chase, or hold on, wait, who's he throwing the ball to?
Zay Flowers.
Okay.
Rashad Bateman.
Do you know who's second in yards?
Geno Smith.
Yeah,
DK Metcalf, JS. I mean,
actually, to be fair, Geno Smith and Joe Burrow, who are approximately 17 and 25 yards behind Lamar, have played one less game.
What's the interceptions looking at? For
so Burrow has 4, Geno has 12, Lamar has 3.
How many?
3.
Okay.
Ooh.
So most yards, and you bring up Geno Smith as 4 times the amount of interceptions. So I mean, and he, does Geno play at Pittsburgh?
I don't believe so.
No. Okay. So I mean, so listen, the Lamar Jackson, he has to stop. I mean, the guy can ball. He's just developing. He still doesn't have anybody to throw to. Zay Flowers
in the first round.
What's that?
You should pick more receivers in the first round. They've done none of that.
Oh yeah.
Flowers is developing. Andrews is saying something else. The Isaiah Likely experiment kind of is come and goes. I mean, but he's hitting guys like Rashad Bateman and Nelson Aguilar, cue to soundbite. But I mean, they're doing everything they can, and he's at the end of the day, he's making plays, and they're winning games. And I think it's a tough matchup. Exactly. So that's how I look every time Lamar Jackson throws the ball to Aguilar and he actually makes a great play. It's just kind of like, okay. Well, anyway, I mean, listen, the Ravens, say what you want about Lamar Jackson, right? The Ravens just do everything right for the most part. It's just a great organization. They win no matter, by hook or crook. And as Jackson's developing and carrying them, they're just good. Eagles are coming in, and we're going to see what team this Eagles football is. Are they the 9-2 team, or I mean, listen, this time last year, what were they, 10-1?
Yes.
How'd that work out?
Not well.
Not good.
So I do like the Eagles in this game, though. The reason being is that their run defense. I mean, their run defense is I mean, Jordan Davis and them guys stop the run. I think if they could contain Lamar Jackson and then kind of have some ball control with Saquon Barkley really being the focus, I think that's where it's going to be. I don't like saying that, but I do tend to lean to Philadelphia today with the points, just because I think it's going to be a hard day for Derrick Henry. Now, if he breaks one, all bets are off, because that's a game changer. If he breaks one, all bets are off as a game changer. But the Eagles improved secondary, the great run defense. I think it's Lamar Jackson is going to have to make a play with his legs. And I mean, listen, he's more than capable. But I just think overall, I think the Eagles win this game.
I do want to say that last week, the challenge was from Quig and about this Eagles defense, that they really were legit against the Rams, and they shut the Rams down. So I mean, yes, they're not a contender. I just talk shit about them, but they still are pretty good offensively. Yes, they're missing 2 of their tackles that game, but the Eagles, the way they're playing defense right now, man, you got to give them credit. Vic Fangio's did a lot of good work with this team. They made some good draft picks. Quentin Mitchell and Cooper DeJean fill in their laps. I said in the draft now, I said if Cooper gets dropped, he's going to Philly, and it's going to be not a good thing for other teams to deal with. And so far, it seems to be that's true. That's the case. I do want to see what they could do against Ball. This is the ultimate test, right, Brian? I mean, this is the test right now, because a lot of people do pin the Ravens to be a Super Bowl favorite. And yes, they've had some weird losses this year, but I still like the Ravens as my pick for the Super Bowl this year. So we'll see what they could do. The playoffs are always a different beast, but I will say this, and I'll win with this. Lamar Jackson is the best quarterback, is a better quarterback than Trevor Lawrence. And that debate needs to be done. It does. I need you to come to the side. You got to come to the side. Drop the hockey hat and just say, hey, listen, dude.
We're having discussions again between production and talent. These are 2 different things.
It's not, though.
It is.
Right. Sure I don't want to go above our time, so that's
sure it is. Brock Purdy's productive, not talented. Anthony, go ahead.
I'm going to take the Eagles today. I like the Eagles on the money line, plus 124, and I think this is going to be a different route today. I think the Eagles, to win this game, they're going to have to go airborne here. I love A.J. Brown anytime touchdown. I like A.J. Brown over 80 yards. I think the Ravens back end, they're not good. They let up a lot of yards. So I think this is going to really be on Hurts today. I think this is going to have to be a big game for Jalen Hurts to prove that he's going to be able to throw the ball in big situations. So and I think they get it done. I think they're just a mismatch with A.J. Brown, Smith, Goddard.
No Devontae today.
No Devontae? He's out?
No Devontae.
Okay. Still, though, I'm going to roll with the Eagles. Plus 124 on the money line, and AJ Brown all day today.
If you are right, Anthony, this is going to come down to Jalen Hurts in this game, then I love Baltimore.
I knew you'd say that, but I think it is. Baltimore's got a good rush defense also.
They do.
They do.
It's the same thing. So I think they're really weak on the back end.
So, and you touched on it, right? Saquon and Derrick Henry. We're getting in quarterback, talking about Lamar Jackson, but Saquon and Derrick Henry, who would you guys want right now?
Saquon.
I lean Saquon.
Probably.
Only because Tone
Me
he can
too.
catch.
Pass catching.
He
Pass
does.
catch.
Well, he lost on the game
Pat-
because of that.
That's true.
They should be
True.
getting one.
True.
Saquon, better receiver, and I think he has more wiggle. Like his running style, I think he
Agreed.
just, he can create a little bit more space.
Tone, quick. When I watched that game on Monday with Derrick Henry, I was, dude, that dude is for his size, it's like we'll never see that ever again for a guy that can move the way he can move, because he was able to pick the holes and create holes for himself in the ABC gaps. The way he could go from left to right as a guy who, what would you say? He's what, 6'1", 6'2"?
6'3", listen to this.
6'3", 2. What would you say? 205, 215, 225?
No,
around
235.
230.
Yeah,
I mean, the fact that he can move the way he moves,
Yeah.
he overpowers offensive linemen. It's insane, dude.
And what year is
It's
he in?
insane.
And what year is he in?
Oh,
No,
there's
right.
You know what I
he's
mean?
got
Like,
he's got miles on those legs.
He
That's what I
turns
mean.
31 in January.
and he's still doing it. It's crazy.
Still doing it, dude.
Yeah.
It's impressive, man. It's just impressive.
Baltimore by 40. The snow game on Sunday night, the 5-6 Niners, the 9-2 Bills. Bills laying 6.5, 44.5 is the number in an absolute blizzard. It is going to be very, very snowy in Buffalo. San Fran's 4-0, 32 points per game in the games where they win the turnover battle. Josh Allen 19-2 in December and January in the regular season since 2020, 10-0 since 22. Drew, go ahead.
Breaking news: Schefter just released Jamal Adams is signing with the Detroit Lions on the practice squad, elevating to the team as the week goes by. The guy who was 2 first-round picks in the Seattle.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, remember the guy 2 first? That was a good trade.
Yeah, good. That was a good one.
That was great. So in the snow, the offense knows where the ball's going, the defense doesn't. So I think that it's a misnomer that you get, bad offensive games in these things. I think the Bills are built to run on this, so are the Niners for that matter. Still like Buffalo just because I can't put faith in San Francisco right now at all. Period. I mean, is Brock Purdy even playing? This should be a win. This should be a win and a cover for Buffalo. The only thing you worry about is what does the weather do?
Josh Allen rushing, Josh Allen touchdown, James Cook,
Yes.
big game.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
I think that's what the weather does.
I
It
think
should
the
be fun.
I think the Niners are dead, to be honest with you. I think their window's closed. I think they got a big decision with Purdy. I don't think he's going to be the guy moving forward. I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah,
Trent Williams healthy? No, right?
I don't think he's playing.
I don't think
Yeah,
he's
I don't
playing.
think he's playing either.
Bosa's again. He's out. They're just so
He's
banged
out.
up. Yep, they're banged up. Bills all the way. Give me the Bills. I'll take the 6.5 tonight. I think they're gonna run it right down their throat.
Sunday night game, West Coast team, California coming to Buffalo on a cold Sunday night where they really are just everybody's banged up. I think half the team probably wishes they don't get on this plane and play the game. I think this could be ugly. I think I might take some adjusted odds and Bills by like 10.
Franchise tag Brock Purdy this offseason. That's gonna be the talk of what they're gonna do with him. I don't think they're gonna come to a long-term deal. But everything else, I agree with you guys. This should be Buffalo all day, Brian. They should easily go 10-2 tonight. I know this. Even Fred Warner's banged up. He's been playing with a fractured ankle. So it's Buffalo tonight for the win. And everything Quick said about Josh Allen, I think is going to happen tonight. He's probably have 2 or 3 rushing touchdowns tonight.
Last but certainly not least is the Monday night game as the Cleveland Browns 3-8 visit the 7-5 playoff bound currently Denver Broncos, who are laying 6. 42 is the number. Jameis Winston could win consecutive starts in a season for the first time since weeks 5 through 8 of 2021 when he was a New Orleans Saint. The Denver Broncos have not finished with a winning record since 2016, where they were 9-7. They are 7-5 today. Odds are they're probably going to do it this year. Good on Sean Payton. Good on Bo Nix. Another surprise story for me. Not a bad story by any means. They started off 0-2, right? They're 7-3 in their last 10. And the funny part is we were like, oh my God, the Broncos beat the Jets. What a horrible loss for the Jets. And now here we are.
Yeah.
This doesn't seem like a Monday night game. I'm sorry. It didn't seem like a Monday night game preseason. Doesn't seem a Monday night game now. Even with the talent that seems that Bo Nix is, KG. See you tomorrow, bud.
See you guys.
And it's just I don't know. This just this game is just not exciting at all for me. I don't know. I'm looking for an Ernest Biner fumble to lose the game.
Ernest.
Dexter
I
Slaughter.
see what you're saying, Quig. I got you. I get what you're saying. I'm so excited to watch it just because Jameis Winston's speeches alone make me just laugh my ass off. But I would definitely want to see Bo Nix continue his play. Okay, go ahead.
Your Rappaport says the Panthers are not expected to draft a quarterback early in next year's draft.
Well, they should.
Right. It's Bryce Young's team.
Don't be dumbasses. But yeah, it definitely want to see. I think Broncos are gonna win this game. It's at Denver. It'll be a tough game for Jameis. The Broncos are gonna go to 8-5, and they will be Brian. They're gonna be my 7C pick. So I'm definitely think between 6 to 7 between them and the Chargers. And definitely, I think the playoffs are going to be really interesting in the AFC because the Broncos could be that type of team that could scare a lot of people with their defense and with their game managing from Bo Nix and the offensive side. Tone Vell, receiver, Ville or Vell or something like that for Broncos, has been on fire these last couple of weeks. He's taken over the Troy Franklin role. I definitely want to spot him and get him some on parlays for tomorrow's game, and yeah, a little bit of Bo Nix rushing still. I'm still taking the Bo Nix rushing over. Other than that, I got nothing for the Browns really. So let's go Broncos tomorrow night.
Yeah, this game ain't too much. I'm gonna take the 6 points. I'll take the Browns at +6. I'm gonna stay with Sutton.
See you, boys.
Stay on the Sutton hot streak and ride a Sutton anytime touchdown. That's about it.
I still don't know why this game was scheduled. I mean, like why was this game scheduled? Like on Monday Night Football?
It was Bo Nix versus
Deshaun Watson. That doesn't sound like. I mean, like what was the NFL expecting to happen? What if Bo Nix wasn't playing at a level he is now? I mean, this game might have been the worst NFL game in Monday Night Football history. I mean, really. I mean, if the Broncos floundered around and were a 3-win team, which wouldn't have surprised many people, I mean, it's
ridiculous. I mean, they should have saw the Eagles-Ravens game coming, right?
I like the Eagles-Ravens game before. I do like that. Eagles have too many primetime games. I mean, that Jacksonville game would have been what was supposed to be primetime. It didn't get flexed out.
Bills too. The Bills-Niners, but that's Sunday night.
Yeah, so that's going to be a good one, but it might not even be a good one. It's just so I mean, there's just not a lot of primetime options out there. So yeah, I mean, we'll see, but I'll take Denver. I'll take Bo Nix, Cortland Sutton. I think they get the job done.
And Cleveland's not as good a defense away from home anyway. Even if they're not as good as they were last year anyway, but they're not the same team.
True.
So, all right, kids, enjoy your week 13. Stay warm. So if you're in Buffalo, bundle up, go through a table for tonight's game, and we will catch you next week. Enjoy.
All right, boys.
Go Big Blue.